My name's Scott McRoberts. I'm the other Scott. Scott got to Cairn first. He's been working for Cairn for longer. So Scott is Scott at cairnmovement.com, and I'm Scott M at cairnmovement.com, the second Scott. I am a Church of Scotland minister in Inverness, have been for the last 11 years, and really love being part of that, actually. Love being part of what God is doing in the Church of Scotland. From the start of this year, I've got a very part-time role with Cairn as well, and the goal here is to develop learning communities across each of the 9 new big Scottish presbyteries. So if you're in the Church of Scotland, you know what I mean, that we've now got 9 kind of bigger presbyteries, and the goal is, can we take some of the things that we've been thinking about today and take some time over a couple of years in each of those presbyteries with a few churches to get together and see what would it look like to bring our churches more into this. So I'd love to know how many people here are in the Church of Scotland, work for the Church of Scotland, have some connection to Church of Scotland. Yes, if you look around, there's loads actually. And so be encouraged about that. You know, you're actually not the only Church of Scotland, they're here. People have sometimes said to me, Cairn, that's not a Church of Scotland. Actually, half the people in this room are Church of Scotland. I believe that God is doing something new in the Church of Scotland just now. Stuart mentioned earlier that it's been a hard time, and he's right. It's been a hard time in the Kirk for a number of years, but I believe that God's doing the what's next thing. And part of that is about churches developing this culture of all God's people having their gifts released to do these things that we've been thinking about today. So how can we be part of that? What we'd love to do is develop learning communities in each presbytery. Again, hands up if you're familiar with what learning communities are, if you've been connected with Cairn. Probably most of you, but not all. So learning communities are kind of structured around 4 weekends over 2 years, spaced out kind of 6 monthly, where a group of churches will get together, think some of this through at a more measured pace over time, growing into it as a church together, talking with other churches as well, having the kind of core leaders from each church discipled in between by people who are delivering those learning communities. And so it's a discipleship process to make disciples who can make disciples who can make disciples. That's what we're going for. So my role is to really encourage that and seek the people in the Church of Scotland presbyteries who are hearing that and going, I want to be part of that. I want my presbytery to be part of that. I'd love you to speak to me about that and see how can we get these going in the next couple of years. If you're not part of the Church of Scotland, I'd still love to speak to you. So if there's people that are interested in learning communities in their area, my job is to see Church of Scotland churches getting around this. But it doesn't have to be just Church of Scotland churches. I'm glad Alan's nodding as I say that. It doesn't have to be if it's just the Kirk ones that are here. If there are people in an area that want to be involved in that, we want to talk to you about that. So if you have got a Church of Scotland email address on the list that I saw earlier about who's here, I'm going to email you to see if you're interested in hearing more. If I know you're in the Church of Scotland and you don't have a Church of Scotland, I'm going to email you, but please do email me to find out more as well. So Scott M at cairnmovement.com. Scott gets them, he'll just pass them on to me. He won't. Okay, so Scott M at cairnmovement.com. I'd love everyone actually to be hopeful about what God is doing next in the Church of Scotland, because something is coming, I believe, and this is one way to kind of really believe that and be part of that.